afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First, please welcome Mr. Graham Perrett, the Presiding Officer for this ceremony. Mr. Graham Perrett, please. The Honorary Leeanne Enoch MP, the State Member for Alcester, also the Minister for Innovation and Science and Digital Economy and Minister for Small Business. Next is the Honorable Mark Bailey MP, the State Member for Irupili. Next is the host, Melody Chen. Maggie Lu, the President of Arts and Multicultural. Peter Russo is the next. Peter Russo MP, the State Member for Sunnybank. Come over here. Teresa Yang, the General Manager for EVA Airway, Australia and New Zealand branch. Dr. David Lu, the General Manager of VAC International Media Group. This is the 12th Australian Citizenship Ceremony hosted by Citizenship Team of All Arts and Multicultural. This ceremony is proudly supported by Lord Mayor, Suburban Initiative Fund and Councillor Kim Marx.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to acknowledge the traditions of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people on whose land we are gathered here today. Mr. Graham Perrett MP, the Presiding Officer for the Citizenship Ceremony, authorised by the Minister under the Australian Citizenship Act 2007. Melody Chen, Life Honorary President, World Arts and Multicultural. Maggie Lu, President, World Arts and Multicultural Incorporated and the host. The Honourable Leeanne Enoch MP, State Member for Alcester, Minister for Innovation, Science and Digital Economy, Minister for Small Business. The Honourable Mark Bailey MP, State Member for Yonkapilli, Minister for Main Roads, Road Safety and Minister for Ports, Minister for Energy, Biofuels and Water Supply. Mr. Peter Russo MP, State Member for Sunnybank. Teresa Yang, General Manager, EVA Airways Australia and New Zealand branches. Carly Ashford here, representative from the Department of Immigration and Border Protection. So Mr. David Lu, General Manager, Voice of Australian International Media Group.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Could I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners and thank them for their continuing stewardship on a day which is a difficult day for Indigenous Australians. Obviously 228 years ago, Australia was changed by the settlement that came. This is obviously a very, very happy day for most of the people in this room, and I'm glad to be able to be part of that as your presiding officer. Australia stands proud in today's world, recognised for defending the values, rights and obligations which will stand us in good stead for as long as we embrace them. The history and culture of Australia has been forged over thousands of years, first through Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and more recently with people from the four corners of the earth. Australians are proud of having survived and thrived as a nation, following the cruelty of world wars, depression, drought and flood. As a result of this rich history, today we stand with other strong democracies to help defend and protect our heart-fought freedoms. People of all backgrounds and religions strengthen our country, and only together, united, will our future be as strong as our present and past. Thank you for taking this important step today. Australian citizenship confers on you great benefits, but equally rights and obligations. Congratulations and best wishes from the Honourable Peter Dutton MP, Minister for Immigration and Border Protection. Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Ms. Melody Chen, the Life Honorary President of All Arts and Multicultural, to deliver her speech. Melody Chen, please.
Today we have 86 new candidates from 27 different countries becoming Australian citizens. We are very honored to host the citizenship ceremony under the guidance of MC Lewis Lee OAM, the community leader and also life honorary advisor, World Art and Multicultural Incorporation. Australia is a wonderful country, rich in cultural harmony and diversity. Your Australian citizenship is about making a contribution. I cherish this great honor of being able to be part of assisting with this important step in a new life. Once again, congratulations to the candidates who will be the new Australian citizens. Thank you very much.
Next speaker is the Honorable Leeanne Enoch MP, also the State Member for Alcester, Minister for Innovation, Science and Digital Economy, and also Minister for Small Business. Leeanne Enoch, please.
I'll just say a warm welcome to all of you here today on this very special day. Let me begin, of course, by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we gather. And in doing so, may we all acknowledge the more than 3,000 generations of Aboriginal people who have maintained cultural practices of this country. And can I acknowledge all of our elders from wherever you come from, whatever your culture, those that have passed and those still with us guiding us into the future. Today is a special day for many, many reasons. For me, I am an Aboriginal woman myself. I'm a Nunaku woman of the Kondanuka Nation, which takes in the waters and islands of Moreton Bay. So anybody who's been to North Stradbroke Island at all, that is my original ancestral country. And when I was on Stradbroke Island, North Stradbroke Island, just a few days ago, I was reminded of something. And so it made me think about Australia Day. I went to a freshwater spring. It's called Mayora Springs. So if you ever go there, have a good look at it. It is a fresh spring that comes from the centre of the island, and it meets the ocean. So it is tidal. So you swim in the fresh water, and you can swim out into the ocean, into the salt water. And at all times, those two things work together. They are not in conflict with each other. They work together, even though they are very different. Salt water and fresh water, very different. But somehow they all work together. And really, that's how I see Australia Day. We're like the fresh water and the salt water working together. No matter what the tide is, coming in or coming out, we find our way, even though we're so different from each other, we find our way to work together and to be together as one strong nation. So today, on your special day, this will be your anniversary of your citizenship, forevermore now. Unless you decide to go to another country, but why would you do that? For many others, it is a day that means different things. For some, it is a sad day because of what Graham Perrett was saying, that more than 220 years ago, this country changed dramatically, and the 3,000 generations that we acknowledge today had to deal with quite a lot of changes in that time. But for you today, this is your day where you get to be, where you get to stand up and say that you are an Australian citizen. And there is so much pride, there are so many great things about being an Australian citizen, not least the fact that we are like the salt water and the fresh water, forever working together without conflict, no matter our differences. So congratulations today. I wish you all the very best as new Australian citizens over your years in this country and for your families forevermore. Thank you.
Australia is a country I'm very proud of. We have a great tradition of respecting people and valuing the contribution of every single citizen in this country over the last 100 years or so. We have great faith in every single Australian, and that includes you today. And one of the ways we show that faith is that everybody has an equal say in our democracy. No matter who you are, no matter what your background is, we give you those liberties and those rights because we believe that a free society is a dynamic society that has a clear way for ideas and for debate and discussion, and that's where the strength of this country is that in everybody's contribution from their diverse backgrounds, from everything they have to offer, that is the kind of country we are, and we will continue to get better and grow as a result of it. And I certainly encourage you as new citizens to be interested in government and politics, because what we do impacts on all of you in so many different ways, more than you realise. So it's important that you as citizens are active citizens, that you understand what government's doing and you show an interest, because then you can respond to it, and we are a better country and a better democracy if you understand and show an interest in government and how we go about things. We don't always get things right, and it's your right to vote us out if we don't. And that's a great feature, of course, of our democratic system, is the right to change governments and to make sure that government is of the people and for the people. Can I also say, we also separate government from religion. That is part of our tradition. We say they are two separate things. They are two very important things in their own right, but they're very different and quite separate. And that is an important part of our feature as well as a democracy. And I certainly welcome the contribution of people from all around the world in terms of our, the way we do things.
Today is the occasion where we welcome new aspiring Australians to contribute to our wonderful nation. With 86 candidates from 27 different countries, our community will without doubt be enriched by the vibrant traditions, culture and values you bring along with you. You now have the right and the responsibility to cast a vote in your local, state and federal elections. You're entitled to the freedom in speaking up and having a say on matters that are important to you and your family. Most importantly, you are free to pursue your aspirations and to live in peace while still observing your beliefs and celebrating your traditions. Being Australian means you're entitled to the same rights and opportunities to the person sitting next to you. You're also responsible to treat everybody with dignity and respect we all deserve. My father was an immigrant. He championed his Italian heritage every day of his life. And that is why I treasure this diverse and multicultural society I live in. I'm proud of my Italian heritage and proud to be part of this community that has people from all over the world. I'm also proud to know people who have, by their kindness and just generosity, given others the chance they need to grow and thrive in this nation, because that is the Queensland way. I'd like to invite you as new citizens to embrace, to nurture, to contribute and to defend our democratic ideals.
But I think the biggest asset of a nation is its people. So today, by becoming Australian citizen, you will become Australia's most important asset. And I think it is the people make the country great. It is not the country make people great. So today, I would like to encourage you, by becoming Australian citizen, not only enjoy the benefits of this big family, but also take your responsibility, make the best out of this citizenship. And may I quote the word of the former US President John F. Kennedy: ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. Welcome and congratulations. Thank you.
You're part of 26,000 people that are taking out Australian citizenship today. So congratulations, it's an awesome group of people to be a part of. So I have a special presentation here for Mr. Lewis Lee OAM from our Right Honourable Lord Mayor Graham Perrett for your 25 involvements. And I also have one here for the World Arts and Multiculture. So do Maggie and Melody, do you want to stand up and just quickly get a certificate as well from the Lord Mayor, who sends his best regards. Thank you very much, and we'll continue on with the ceremony. Congratulations.
Australian citizenship represents full and formal membership of the community of the Commonwealth of Australia. Australian citizenship is a common bond involving reciprocal rights and obligations, uniting all Australians while respecting their diversity. Persons on whom Australian citizenship is conferred enjoy these rights and undertake to accept these obligations by pledging loyalty to Australia and its people, by sharing their democratic beliefs, by respecting their rights and liberties, by upholding and obeying the laws of Australia. As such, citizenship is both of value to the individual and to the nation. So loyalty, democratic beliefs, respecting rights and liberties, and upholding and obeying the laws of Australia. So now I ask you to make your pledge of commitment according to those values. It will be conducted in two parts, so if you have the choice to make pledge number 1 or pledge number 2, which I think you have received. From this time forward, under God, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose laws I will uphold and obey. From this time forward, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose laws I will uphold and obey. And on behalf of the Government and people of Australia, I warmly congratulate you and welcome you as citizens of Australia.
Each candidate who has made the pledge is called forward individually to receive their Australian citizenship certificate from Mr. Graham Perrett MP. I now ask the other official party who are already up there to join Mr. Perrett. Candidates, after your name is called out, you'll receive your certificate from Mr. Perrett, and who's now on my left. Then you'll proceed to your right to receive a gift from Miss Melody Chen.
This is not an official part of the Australian citizenship process, but these are my 5 tips for you as Australian citizens. Step number 1, you must share a meal with your neighbours. Okay, so wherever you come from, find something from your country that is that your neighbours would like and share that with them. Number 2, you need to find some bush. Some dirt, some red dirt or black dirt, whatever, wherever your farm is, your house is, and get it under your fingernails, get some gum leaves and scrunch them up in your hands so you can smell Australia on your hands. And it will smell different after today, I guarantee that. In fact, every politician here will guarantee that after today. Number 3, you need to hear a poem or find a poet that speaks to you about Australia. Obviously, we could take Minister Enoch's recommendation of perhaps someone like Enoch MP, also known as Kath Walker in older poetry books, but Judith Wright, Benjo Patterson, Henry Lawson, or a poet who has just started writing last year. But find a piece of Australian literature. I say poetry, but it could be prose that speaks to you about Australia. Now, number 4. And you could form a queue at the end of proceedings in front of Minister Enoch. You need to learn an Aboriginal word, or 2 or 3, from the part of Australia that you live in. So find a word. It could be the word, like for Peter Russo, it could be the Aboriginal word for wine. It could be the Aboriginal word for music. Whatever it is, find an Aboriginal word that you can use and tell the people who live in the country you come from that Aboriginal word or words. Number 5, you need to find an Australian sporting team to support. Now, I know Kim Marx comes from New Zealand, so she will never make the Wallabies her number 1 sporting side because the All Blacks are the world champions. So I understand that. But I know for a fact that Kim has lots of other Australian teams that are her number 1 sporting side. Okay? So find an Australian sporting team that will be your number one team in some sport. And obviously, there are rules that apply. If you ever make Australia your third favourite team, you can be deported. Alright, so just remember that. After today, after making that citizenship ceremony, you are now obliged to do those things. They are my 5 tips for being a happy Australian. I have an award to be presented on behalf of all of us here, I guess. Acknowledge Lewis Lee. This isn't in the program, Lewis, so don't get nervous. Everything else is in the program.
Now I would like to ask Ms. Maggie Lu, the President of WAMCI Multicultural, to talk about the Australian Citizenship Certificate. Maggie Lu, please.
Please check your certificate carefully. Your official Australia Citizenship Certificate is an important legal document and is your evidence of Australia's citizenship. Please ensure that your name and date of birth are correct and today's date is printed on your certificate in the bottom left corner.
Next is the affirmation ceremony. I will ask John Chen, the Vice President of WAMCI Multicultural, to do the affirmation ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conduct an affirmation ceremony, which is a short ceremony where all Australians can publicly celebrate being an Australian. The words of the affirmation are based on the Australian Citizenship Bridge made by candidates earlier. By participating in an affirmation ceremony, you are expressing your support for the values and the principles that underpin Australian citizenship. As an Australian citizen, I affirm my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic belief I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose law I uphold and obey.
Next, I would like to invite Richard Huang, the Vice President of WAMCI Multicultural, to talk about the Australian Electoral Commission matter.
Along with your certificate of Australian citizenship, you will receive a partially complete electoral enrollment form. Please check the detail and correct them if necessary. Add in your occupation and postal address, your Australian driver's license number, and state and sign. Once the form has been completed, Jill, Chuang, and myself, volunteers for Australian Electoral Commission, should collect them from you. If you do not have an Australian driver's license, please take your form to officer from Australian Electoral Commission. They will be happy to assist you.
Now, I would like to ask Mr. John Chen and also In Chai to lead the singing of the national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth of toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's ancient every stage, advanced Australia fair. In joyful strength and let us sing, advanced Australia fair.
but it is the best part of my job to see people come from all the different parts of the world and become Australians. It's sometimes sad, sometimes magnificent, sometimes simple journey that people have travelled, but I really appreciate being able to assist them make that commitment to Australian democracy. You can see it, because we get to shake people's hands and hand them the certificate, you can just see there's obviously a lot of relief, but also much happiness. I mean, especially, there's no set reason for why people are happy. You know, some because they've come for love, some because they're fleeing sadness, but still they're very happy to be in a safe, democratic country with great economic opportunities. I'm very proud that World Arts and Multicultural host this event and do so well. There are some aspects of Australian history that we are not always proud about, and so there's sadness associated with that. There's like the people that became new Australians today, the 80 plus people that became new Australians, there's often some sadness about the country they came from because they're leaving a part of their history behind, but it's also an uplifting day because there are new opportunities. So we can't change the history of 228 years ago and the implications that had for the Indigenous Australians, the 30,000 generations of, 3,000 generations of Indigenous Australians that came before white Australia. However, we can make sure that we acknowledge the past, learn from the past, and make sure the Australia of the future is a healthy, inclusive and tolerant nation. That's the legacy we must have, and I think the new Australians here today understood that. That we can have people from the 200 nations of the world all here together, but we all seem to rub along pretty well. We understand Australian values. Now, Australian history hasn't always been an inclusive history, but I think nowadays we are a much more tolerant and diverse and interesting nation, I think.
Mr. Perrett, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Yes, well, it's a wonderful feeling. I've been here for a few years and really enjoyed being here, and I think a great place to live and raise the family, and very proud to be an Australian citizen. Well, really the same feelings, yes, to have actually been something on my mind for a while. Obviously the final step in quite a long process from getting my initial visa to finally becoming a citizen. So today was, big moment to actually have the certificate and have it all formalised is wonderful, is great, yeah. Well, I really think there's a lot of opportunities here for them, and I think even just growing up with the outdoor lifestyle here is wonderful and great for the kids growing up initially, and then as they get older I think there's wonderful opportunities to be had in Australia for them. So I think it'll be a great place for them to grow up and mature.
Australia Day 今年是我们 WAMCI 做公民宪事第12次，非常的光荣。我们这些义工非常的棒，每一个人都现在都很熟悉，都知道怎么来做社区服务。今天又看到我们的三重奏来演奏澳洲国歌，非常的棒。然后新公民非常的开心，我们这些 VIP 也都非常的开心，所以我们办公民宪事办了12次了，都不会觉得疲倦。我们越办越有信心，我们都可以为社区服务，为新公民服务。我们觉得这个非常有意义，我们会继续做下去。